Hey everyone, it's Stephen here with a fragrance review, and today I'm talking about Houbigant's Fougere Royale. This is the X-Straight version and it comes in this ridiculously fancy box. And here's the bottle with very little remaining. So this was launched in like 2014. There's two concentrations. It comes in the EDP and the X-Straight here with quite a variance in price. The X-Straight here is like twice as expensive. I got this for a pretty good price, to be honest, so I jumped on that. At the time I owned the EDP, so I ended up selling that because it was ultimately redundant to own the both of them. So there's a whole lot of notes in here. Most of them are kind of classical powerhouse 80s style fragrances, things like geranium, carnation, oak moss, a bit of amber, and there's some chamomile. So it's quite a floral scent with quite a masculine take on it, as this was a reissue of one of the original, I believe it was the original Fougere that was ever conceived back in the late 1800s, and they basically re-released this. I think Roger Dove was involved to some degree, and another perfumier who I can't remember. So it opens with a very notable lavender, and I personally am not a fan of lavender in fragrances. However, in here it's done really well. I can really enjoy this. The lavender is then joined by kind of other supporting floral notes, which then lift the lavender up, and they kind of disguise that just the sharpness the lavender can have. These are very kind of, I don't want to say the word fresh, but there's a very energizing stuff to hear. I find that green notes can become, they kind of give you a bit of energy, and it can really lift you up in here. I find they are done very well. The notes are blended extremely well, but somehow in the base the fragrance becomes very synthetic. It's weird. There's just like this kind of woody aroma chemical which is very prevalent in fragrances nowadays, and I find in here it just almost spoils it, because how it starts and develops is really nice, but once it hits this base it's just very bland. There's not much going on. I find that the quality drops off, and this is like a £400 fragrance. Remember, I think it's like £375 for 100ml, so it's really expensive. But yeah, I mean, the problem I have with my fragrances is value for money. Like, this is a great fragrance, loses it in the base, and with a price tag of what it has, you would just think that the quality materials would kind of maintain. The X-Straight is very long lasting. It does just kind of stick to your skin for a long time. I haven't really done a side-by-side comparison of the Parfum and the X-Straight or the Parfum versus the EDP, but just from memory I don't really recall much of a difference. Just the X-Straight was very long lasting. Not that the EDP is kind of a slouch in the performance category. I was getting a good 8 hours from that, but this will go for 14 hours. I can put it on to go to work at sort of 8:30 in the morning, and come 11 o'clock at night I can still smell it, so it's a strong scent. It's disappointing. I remember thinking at one point that when I owned the EDP this was one scent I would never be without, but just somehow it's changed for me. This particular type of fragrance is really things I like. I do like sort of the masculine barbershop powerhouse scents. This is a bit more fresher and a bit more citric and flowery, as opposed to more like the leathered, darker some scents that you get in vintage form with things like patchouli. But in here is quite a light fragrance. I think coumarin is used, which is the scent of freshly cut grass. It's quite noticeable in Fahrenheit as well, and it just gives you a very kind of, it's a nice feeling. It kind of reminds you of being outside and give you that, it's quite transportative in that manner. So I'm gonna cut the chase now and just give this a rating. I'm gonna give it a 6. Yeah, it's a really nice opening, and how it goes for a while is great. Falls off completely in the base for me. Scratch that. I'm going to revise my rating to a 5, because it's busy with a price tag like this. It's not on. Yeah, how dare you. But yep, that's my incredibly shitty review of Fougere Royale. A fragrance I thought I'd never be without, but here I am selling it, so there we go. Thanks guys, take care.